Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. It's February 6, 2026. Please note this event is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Career USA YouTube channel to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Back in 2007, I took over facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. This group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over in 2007 when the prior leader landed a job. In 2008, I started a website called careerdfw.org, a website to help those unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I launched careerusa.org to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon, or if you see me in person, I always have copies with me. Since 2017, I've been a member of the practice interview team, also known as the PIC Crew, and you'll hear more about them in just a few minutes. Our agenda this morning will start out with success stories, and we'll do 30-second introductions, job leads if we have any recruiters online with us. They'll then hear from the Interview Success Workshop, the practice interview team, and the career tip of the week. We like to start the meeting off with good news, success stories. I see somebody brought treats, so come on down and tell us your good news. Just tilt that up. Hold on. Let's see here.
Sure.
Oh. See. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Bindu. Walt likes Krispy Kreme chocolate-filled donuts, and I had to make sure that we get it. And again, I'm Bindu Chalapalli, and it's a contract to hire role. A recruiter found me on LinkedIn. I had 4 interviews, 2 phone and 2 in person. The interviews were 1 in October, 1 in November, 1 in December, and 1 in January. And I'm starting in February. So I'm talking to my boss once a month. I hope that stays that way. Or anyway, it took about 3.5 to 4 months with back and forth negotiation. What I learned in the process, everything that we learned in all the focus group is really valuable. The first few months, I just used to take notes, but never implemented it because I was so good student that I was just taking notes for an exam that never happened. But later I slowed down, started changing one thing at a time, either including signature at the end of every email, connecting with the hiring manager, not the recruiter, but the hiring manager on the client side, and also including my signature in the LinkedIn, like how Matt Killen shows how to include using phone. So I did all of those, kind of putting that title in his brain in my signature ahead of time. So all the small things, I think, add. But most importantly, what Brenda said last week is really true. It's an alignment. They're not hiring you for the skills or attitude, but it's the combination, and they are just trying to see how well a person can fit in the team. And I think that's what I succeeded at. I believe so, at least.
So what bit of advice would you give job seekers?
I would say that start making that one change each week. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to make perfect LinkedIn. Change each thing each week and see what works, because each of us have different skills. In my line of work, I have to be a generalist, not a specialist, because I deal with so many teams and so many things. I need to know 10 to 15 technologies, and I cannot be an expert in each of them. So when you are in that role or a director role, your value gets overlooked because people focus on hard skills. So it's important that you change small things and see what resonates with the other person. Oh, yes, accountability groups. I was in CHU. Again, I'm that student who wants to do it, do it more than I'm assigned. So I was in CHU. They are helpful, especially because a lot of times when you're in transition, your family can understand you to only to certain extent. When you are in these focus groups, you get your community, but it's still not the same. But with your small group, you can be vulnerable and actually have that honest conversations and get support.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
And everyone take Walt's interview class, and I think that's what helped me the most.
Walt's interview class. Okay, great.
Congratulations, Bindu. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Valerie.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have good news to share? Going once, going twice? Nope. All right. What we would like for you to do for everybody who's online right now is open up the chat window, give us your name, the position you're looking for, couple target companies that you have that we may be able to help you with. Give us your email, your LinkedIn address, phone, city if you like. And companies, if you have companies that you have connections that you can help somebody else, please let us know who those are. And maybe you can help somebody else who's out here looking right now. So I'll give you all 30 seconds on the clock to get started. All right, if you're still typing, please continue, get your information in because I don't know you're with us if you don't put your information in the chat window. All right, what we're going to do now is get everybody's 30-second introductions that are here in the room. So if people we want to line up, come on down, grab the mic and give us your 30-second here.
Good morning. My name is Marty Upton, Director of IT and Cybersecurity, primarily in the healthcare sector. Went through this wonderful group and program about 5 years ago, and now it's time to make a return. Target companies are Ensemble Health, and I have contacts at Vesta Healthcare, Heritage Health Solutions here locally, and many more on my LinkedIn profile.
Great, thank you.
Yep, my name is Marty Upton.
Good morning. My name is Tim Farrell. I'm an electrical design verification engineer. Target companies, Boeing, Intel, and NVIDIA. I have contacts at Raytheon, and my name is Tim Farrell.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Melinda Santana Carey, and I'm looking for HR leadership roles. I've been doing HR for over 20 years. Target companies, I have all different sizes and different industries that I've done, so I'm wide open there. Contacts that I have more recently is with ed tech company, Amira Learning iStation. And again, my name is Melinda Santana Carey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Chris Holmes, and I am looking for a senior manager or director level role in IT portfolio governance. Sometimes you might see that as PMO leadership. I need contacts this week at RDB Construction, IBM, and I have contacts at Southwest Airlines. My name is Chris Holmes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Simba Maketa. I am a commercial real estate investment analyst. I'm looking for financial analyst positions. I need contacts for university partners or S2 Capital. I have contacts at Greystar or JPI or any other commercial real estate companies. My name is Simba Makita.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Bindu Chalapalli. I'm still looking for the director of data engineering role. I have contacts at Blue Cross Blue Shield and also Toyota in a couple of months. The target companies at this moment are not clear. My name is Bindu Chalapalli.
Thank you.
My name is Doug Maxim, and I'm impressed. This is the first time in 15 years where I've been doing like 5 or 6 job search where I've heard another person say cybersecurity. So I'm specializing actually in third-party risk management, looking for a manager role, or pivoting to cybersecurity awareness and training. I'm just getting started, so I'm not really worried about companies. I've got a lot of contacts that I'll start looking at to do that. I have contacts at Raytheon, and if you're interested in doing contracting work at Dexian Staffing. My name is Doug Maxim.
Great. Anybody else? Nope. All right. Thank you. All right. Let's go to everybody who's online right now. If you will, open up the little bar at the very bottom and raise your hand so that way I can call on you and don't call on somebody 2 or 3 or 4 times. So Miguel, go ahead.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Congrats, Bindu. I'm so happy for you. My name is Miguel Castillo. I'm looking for a VP or director in finance. Need contacts this week at Stryker and Toyota, and have contacts at American Airlines. My name is Miguel Castillo.
Thank you. Steve.
Hi, my name is Steve Rowan. I'm a .NET developer. I'm retired at this point, but like to keep up with what's going on in the hiring world. I have contacts at Pfizer and the VA, and I'm looking for a thing at American Airlines. My name is Steve Rowan.
Thank you, Steve. Mary.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Mary Menser. I'm looking for a position as Senior Director of Professional Services, PMO in the software space, ERP, HCM, CRM, and all the acronyms, I guess. I have contacts at Oracle NetSuite and Epicor, and I'm looking for contacts at Sage and Intech. Thanks.
Thank you. Megan Mahana. Hannah. All right, we'll skip. We'll go to Sheldon.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Sheldon Weinstein. I'm actually remote based in Cincinnati, Ohio. My background's in building and scaling growth in consumer packaged goods, food and beverage industry, and partner with national and regional retailers. And I've worked across both large global corporations like Nestle, Starbucks, Campbell Soup, and more entrepreneurial private held companies. And I'm a senior sales and business development leader, and I'm focused on for next steps and next roles, a director above level role in a mid-sized growth-oriented manufacturer in that $200 million to $2 billion range. My name is Sheldon Weinstein.
Thank you, Danella or Danelle.
Hi, my name is Danielle Parker, and I'm looking for an executive administrative assistant position. And I need contacts at Toyota or Frito-Lay, and I have contacts at the Home Depot. And my name is Danielle Parker.
Thank you, Mike.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Belzil. I'm a data analytics product leader. So I help business leaders ring their performance bell by converting data into dollars. So I'm seeking a director data products role based out of DFW. And I'm looking for contacts at companies like Keurig Dr. Pepper, Hershey, and PepsiCo. So I have contacts at Walmart, Epsilon, and Circana. Congrats to Bindu. Super excited for your new role. My name is Mike Belzil.
Thank you, Lance.
Hello, my name is Lance Lester. I'm looking for roles in as a senior manager or director for UI UX, content development, digital strategy. I need contacts at 2U, Centene, and honestly, really anywhere else. I have contacts at Fossil, uh, Dr. Pepper, and Toyota. My name is Lance Lester.
Thank you. Cindy.
Good morning. I'm Cindy Greenberg in Dallas, Texas. I'm seeking roles that are focused on strategy, technology, and healthcare, some sort of mix of that. In the past, I've served as a solutions and strategy manager. I'm seeking roles that are focused on senior manager, strategy consultant, or even product marketing strategist. The contacts that I need are companies like Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas, USAA, and Healthcare Service Corporation. I have contacts at National Government Services, Elevance Health, NASCO, HP, and others, and I'm happy to connect with you all. Again, my name is Cindy Greenberg. Thank you.
Thank you. Scott.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Scott Boudreau. I'm looking for a supply chain job specializing in inventory control or production planning in central New Jersey or remotely. I don't really have any target companies yet. My name is Scott Boudreau.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to mispronounce your name. Laurencia?
Close. Good morning, everyone. My name is Laurencina Mason Romelu. My dad is Lawrence, so it's Laurencina. And I am looking for roles in learning or leadership development, strategic partnerships, student success, or equity and diversity. I need contacts at Children's Hospital or Chris's Hospital. And I have contacts at Dallas College and at Texas Women's University. Good morning. I'm Laurencina Mason Romelu.
Thank you. Megan.
Yes, sorry about earlier. I was missing the Zoom window somewhere. But good morning, everyone. My name is Megan Bailey. I'm looking for a senior product manager or a principal product manager role, primarily in technology companies or retail. I have experience in the retail industry as well. And I need contacts at the moment in Intuit or Capital One or any of those technology companies or anywhere pretty much where there is a need for a product manager. And I have contacts at Amazon, AWS, Givelify, some of those companies. Again, my name is Megan Bailey. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Rosina.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rosina Gallman, and I am your Career Tip of the Week host, and I will be back in just a few minutes for that. I'm looking for a position as a Senior Talent Acquisition Business Partner or Senior Recruiter position. And this week, I don't need contacts. I just completed 2 recertifications, so I'm super excited that I got current on those. So one is a professional recruiter certification, and the other is a certified diversity recruiter. So congratulations to me. Yay. Again, my name is Rosina Gallman, looking for a Senior Talent Acquisition Business Partner or Senior Recruiter position. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Anybody else online who haven't called on yet? Okay.
Yes, you did call my name.
Yeah, go ahead. I didn't see your hand up. Go ahead, Ray.
Okay, yeah. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ray Zadeh. I'm looking for protection or application support engineer role. I'd like to work with a large corporation. I need contacts in AT&T, Chase, Fidelity, or Toyota. That'd be great. Again, my name is Raymond Zadeh. Thank you very much, and you all have a good day.
Thank you, Ray. Anybody else online? Going once, going twice. All right, we'll move on here. Don't have any recruiters online, so we'll skip that part. Time to hear from the University Success Workshop and Walt Glass.
Well, good morning, everyone, and everyone in the room. Good morning to you too. So I always have this challenge of talking to the room and then talking to the people online. I can't seem to do both, but I would like to try. So I would like to welcome you to the Interview Success Workshop. And before I get into that, I want to congratulate Rosina on your certifications. Great job, Rosina. And thank you, Bindu. The chocolate-covered cream-filled donut is the absolute top. And I know you spent a lot of effort going all the way to Frisco to Krispy Kreme because there are not as many of them around. So I really appreciate that extra effort. So what is the workshop about? Well, first of all, it's free. And here's the deal. We are selling ourselves in an interview. So what do we sell? I contend that it's who we are, what we do, and how we help. Now, you heard Bindu talking about selling, how we fit into the culture, the I am side, but you also have to have the I do's. You have to have the skills, knowledge, and experience, and then the value that you bring with those. And so that's what we're selling in an interview. So how do we do that? So I'll put together this workshop. It's very informal. It's a learning interview. It is not a mock interview. We are where we are in our interviewing skills. That's all you have to bring. We're going to cover the 12 basic categories of questions, and we're going to look at strategies, structures, options, ways that we might approach an answer to that category. So it's a way of saying, gee, here's where I am. I'm going to answer these questions. I'm going to record you. You'll interview each other. I'll give you the questions in the chat window when you're in the interviewer role. I'll take notes. And then we're going to spend the second hour looking at our answers and saying, how can we improve upon those from the selling mindset? So it's very informal. You can start over. You can pause and think. I mean it to be a fun learning time rather than a stressful, oh, I hope I don't make a mistake time. And so why don't we just have some fun together, while we're learning? So you look me up on LinkedIn. There is an about section. It explains more about the workshop itself. If you'll send me an email, and there's a QR code on the screen, it says, starts an email. You got to edit, put in a few pieces of information, send it to me to my Yahoo email address, which is also posted on my banner page on LinkedIn, and request a slide. So I'll put you on the wait list. It's not very long right now, but I'll put you on the wait list and be glad to have you participate on Zoom from 9 to 11 on most Tuesdays. So glad to have you come down and join us. So let me ask you this. In job search, are we surviving? In interviews, are we dying? Well, keep practicing, keep on trying. You'll get that job where we'll be thriving. I am Walt Glass.
Thank you very much. All right. Let me talk a little bit about the practice interview team. The practice interview team, this is a great way to practice your interviewing skills. Don't wait until you actually have a real interview. Practice now. All you need to do is submit a job description and a resume, and it can be a job that you would just like to have. It doesn't have to be a actual interview you've got it coming up. And if you submit that to tallaspickcrew@gmail.com, they will get you on the schedule to be interviewed. They meet in person right here at Christ United Methodist Church at Coit and Parker in Plano on the first, second, third, and fifth Wednesdays of the month. On the fourth Wednesday of the month, they're online. That way, anybody around the country can watch an actual interview. You will learn just as much by coming and watching somebody else be interviewed as you will you'll learn just as much by watching somebody else being interviewed as you will being interviewed yourself. I know as a panelist, I would learn things. I'd watch somebody else say something. I would jot that down because that's great. Just the way they said that, I got to remember to say things like that in the future. So, come join the Pit Crew every Wednesday, first, second, third, and fifth Wednesdays from 1 to 3 o'clock right here at Christ United Methodist Church. All right. Let's see. It's time for the career tip of the week. Good morning again, Rosina.
Good morning, Jeff, and good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. All right, give me just a second here. And I want to thank Matt for submitting this career tip of the week. Everybody's been helping me out with additional tips. And so this is another good one. And with that said, the title is 10 New Year's Resolution Ideas for Job Seekers in 2026. I know we just started 2026 a month ago, but there's still time. All right, for the 10 tips, and this article is by iHire. And so, with that said, a new year is the perfect time to reset your career goals. If you're feeling stuck or ready for a big leap, creating a solid strategy for your professional growth is a great investment. To help, we've curated a mix of practical, ambitious, and wellness-focused New Year's resolution ideas to build a career you love. Ready to get started? Here is the ultimate New Year's resolution list for ambitious professionals like yourself. So first, you want to master a new AI tool. One of the most impactful New Year's resolutions for job seekers in 2026 is to become fluent in the latest AI tools relevant to your industry. Employers want to hire candidates who can use technology to boost productivity. And you want to pick one tool that is making waves in your field and commit to mastering it by Q2. Second, you want to refresh your personal brand. When was the last time you Googled yourself? Your online presence is often the first impression, so add a personal brand audit to your New Year's resolution list. Update your LinkedIn headline, refresh your bio to reflect your current value proposition, and ensure your resume aligns with your career goals. This is one of the New Year's resolutions ideas that could take a weekend to do, but benefits you for a long haul. Third, you want to prioritize networking with purpose. Networking can feel like a chore, but it is essential for growth. Instead of collecting endless business cards, focusing on building let me start that again. Instead of collecting endless business cards, focus on building meaningful connections. Aim to have one virtual coffee or lunch per month with someone you admire in your industry. Fourth, you want to upskill in leadership and soft skills. In terms of New Year's resolutions for job seekers, developing leadership qualities stands out. Plus, whether it's conflict resolution, public speaking, or emotional intelligence, pick one soft skill to improve. This will help you navigate your path to leadership and stand out as a top-tier candidate. Fifth, you want to set clear boundaries for work-life balance. Burnout is the enemy of career advancement. It might seem counterintuitive, but one of the best New Year's resolution ideas for your career is to actually step away from work. Commit to unplugging after hours or taking your full lunch break. A rested brain is a more creative and productive brain, making this a vital addition to your New Year's resolution list. Sixth, you want to update your salary expectations. The economy changes, and so does the market rate for your skills. Do some research to see what professionals with your experience and title are earning. Equip yourself with that data so that you can negotiate confidently. And if you are underpaid, make it your mission to correct that in 2026. Number 7, find a mentor or be one. Guidance is invaluable. If you don't have a mentor, look for someone who has the career path that you want. And if you are already established, mentoring someone else could be a solid New Year's resolution. Teaching often reinforces your own knowledge. Number 8, clean up your digital workspace. If your desktop is your desktop a mess of random screenshots and untitled folders? It could be cluttering your mind too. One of the easiest New Year's resolution ideas is to execute a digital declutter. Organize your files, unsubscribe from useless newsletters, and streamline your workflow tools. Number 9, attend an industry conference. Get out of your bubble. Commit to attend at least one major industry event, virtual or in person, and it's a great way to stay ahead of trends. It belongs on every ambitious professional's New Year's resolution list because it combines learning, networking, and inspiration all in one. And number 10, practice gratitude daily. It sounds simple, but maintaining a positive mindset changes how you approach challenges. Start or end your workday by noting one professional win or something you are grateful for. Among all the New Year's resolution ideas, this one can help maintain your mental resilience the most. So make 2026 your best year yet. The best New Year's resolution lists for job seekers are the ones that you can actually stick to. You don't need to tackle everything on this list all at once. Pick 2 or 3 that resonate with where you are right now and focus on them. Remember, approach your career as an ongoing evolution rather than a sprint toward the finish line. By implementing these New Year's resolution ideas, you are setting yourself up for sustainable success and genuine advancement. Here's to you and a prosperous, productive, and happy 2026. And again, this career tip is titled 10 New Year's Resolution Ideas for Job Seekers in 2026 by iHire. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody.
Thank you, Rosina. All right. Just like to mention this, the careerdfw.org and the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group are 2 different organizations. Career DFW is a website that I started, and it's a 501c3 nonprofit that I started to help job seekers. The North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group is a great bunch of people who get together on Fridays and have been meeting since the late 1990s. They're 2 different organizations. This is not the Friday group of Career DFW. The only common thread between the 2 is that I happen to lead both at this time. You're welcome. If you want to overthrow me here, you can overthrow me here, but you're not going to get Career DFW out of my hands. And Career DFW is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that has no full or part-time employees. I've never taken anything out of Career DFW over the last 17 years. All right, today for lunch, we're going to go to Mama's Pizza, 2130 West Parker Road on Parker, about a half block west of, it's popped up, about a half block west of Custard. Come join us, pizza buffet. They've got a pasta, they've got a big salad bar, and of course the hot cinnamon rolls is what I will be ending my meal with today. So come join us. We'll take a little hand count here at the end and see how big a table we need to have. If you'd like to receive today's materials, you'll get a link to the YouTube, a link to this video that's on the YouTube channel. You'll get a copy of the career tip of the week that Rosina just read. You'll get a copy of the Zoom chat with all the information that everybody's put in. To ensure that you get that information, if you're here in person, make sure you check your name off on the contact list. If you're brand new, make sure you filled out the little white slip of paper. And if it's legible, I will add you to the roster. If it's not legible, you'll show up on this list right here of people who I can't find, because some of these people have given me LinkedIn addresses, and you go and look on LinkedIn, they've got no emails. So there's no way for me to contact you. So if you happen to be on this list, please put your contact information in the chat. For everybody online, please make sure your email is in the chat window just so I can get it updated. All right. Today we're going to do open forum. We're going to talk about whatever it is you'd like to talk about. So I'm going to stop sharing here so we can get everybody up on the screen here. And I will be up walking around. Let me turn this down a little bit so we can see everybody. What would you all like to talk about first? All right, question right here.
So I had my first AI generated interview as the first interview, and I'm just curious who else is experiencing that as the first interview. Okay, because my experience, I was not prepared, to be honest, even though I'm in HR. I had never done it before, didn't know what to expect, and it was, of course, my perspective, a little cold and right to the point, and so I'd be curious what everybody else's experience with that.
Hi, Chris Holmes here. I think it was probably the second job I applied for out of the gate, and yeah, it was an AI generated interview screening call. Basically, I'm right there with you. It was pretty cold and personal, a little disarming. I'll give it props. It sounded pretty close to a real person. But I guess if I had to do it over, now fortunately I've only had it occur one time, but I guess if I were to do that again, I probably would try to prepare for that, just like I would as if there was a person on the other end of the call. So I don't know that I've only run into it once where it was an actual interview. I have a couple of times where on the application where they ask you if you consent to having AI review your resume. The last time I was asked that, I got a pretty quick rejection. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but yeah, it's out there.
Like or not like? What did you like or not like? What was problems that you think you ran into with the AI?
So what I didn't expect was immediately like for example, one of the questions is this role requires strategic. Tell me how you're going to do that. And I was expecting, tell me about a time when you did da 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 da. Tell me about how you handled this. And so I just wasn't prepared. To your point, I don't think I was prepared for just the direct and not sharing examples of what I did. So at least that was my experience. I don't know other people's.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had one interview actually with DTCC for a cybersecurity role. And when the AI interview started, like you said, it was very different from any experience I've ever had. And I found that the questions were coming at me so quick and direct that I was really struggling to answer the questions. And I opted out and decided I'm going to look at other opportunities until this becomes something I have to do, which probably is now. I probably need to start figuring it out now, but I found it very off-putting, and I just didn't apply for that job.
So I know we are calling it AI interviews, but we did have higher view interviews. And I was one of those person who actually prepared questions for higher view interviews, but then they were technical in nature. So we knew what to expect, what the HR should look for in the technical resource. But now the higher view has become a little more behavioral too. Like some companies, like State Farm has been doing higher view interviews for a while. It's still, I know we're looking at it from a different, because AI is so much, it's being more adapted. But I struggled because I knew giving the questions to Harvey was super easy, but looking at yourself and answering text-based questions is not. The recommendation I got was put a picture in the far wall and look at the picture. Don't look at yourself. Read the question and just look at someone else, because I don't like looking at myself and talking. That was my thing. I prepared for all the behavioral questions, but I could not say the words when I'm looking at myself. So if we just think that, hey, it's something that we already had, I think that was the mind shift.
That whole screen thing, just me staring back. What's going on?
Yeah, some people like to look at themselves, but I'm.
My name's Deborah Christofferson. I've had AI interviews and also interviews where they would email me the questions and have me email back my video response. And I don't like that either. I'm very into fostering human connections. And so I understand what you're saying about the the cold feeling from it. I love your idea of having a picture of like a generic picture, stock picture of a recruiter on our screen when we do that. I know that using AI to help me in my job search has helped me a lot, but I always, always, always go back in and take stuff out and move things around and put my wording back in. So trying to communicate with AI and not having a human connection is definitely a struggle for me. And so it's good to know that other humans have that issue too. But that's all. Thank you.
This is Walt. We're going to have to adapt to the technology. They're not going to change. They're not going to go back to personal one-on-one stuff. It's all going to be the technology. So the question is, I remember when Zoom came out and I had trouble looking into the camera. And so it was like, I'd rather look at a person. I wish the contact and all that, but sometimes there's not a person there. They have, Higher View does things, in their way. And so we've got a new technology. So the trouble we have is getting comfortable with the new technology. So what I suggest we try to do is when they ask you the question, just say, what would I do? What would I say if a real person was there? So looking into the camera is going to be critical. So you don't look at other things in your answer. Imagine that we're talking to a person. And so I think the question you had was kind of direct and you didn't get, so I wasn't prepared for that. I wanted to tell a story. So you say, well, I'll tell you what, I can tell you a story where, and then you tell a story, because that's probably what you would have done in a real interview. All right. And so just because they didn't ask you, say, okay, well, I'm going to tell you one. Because in a real interview, I would ask permission and say, would you like me to tell you about a time when I did this? So they could say, oh, yeah, tell me this story. But here we don't get that opportunity. So there's ways. So how do we practice that? It's very simple, really. You still have to do the same things like we do on Zoom. You got to look into the camera. You got to answer the questions. We got to imagine there's a real person, behind there if there's not or something like that. And so how do we get there? Well, you know the answer. It's called practice. And so you can practice pieces of it or parts of it or something that way. I have been saying for years that we're getting to, I'll have my computer talk to your computer. And we are getting closer and closer to that. And so they'll have an AI generated interview and we'll have an AI generated interview right back and say, okay, take this and do that.
I think so.
Yeah, real quick, I'm big into ChatGPT, and I've been lazy about this, but ChatGPT, when I give it a job rec and my resume that I've submitted, I can say, okay, generate me an interview. It'll generate the interview, and I can tell ChatGPT, conduct the interview. And it will run the interview for me and interview me. I've just been lazy. I'm going to get after it and start doing that because I'm sure the only way I can be prepared for that. But anyway, that tool is there.
Kathy Dixon, I saw you had your hand up.
I did. Thank you for coming back to me. One of my very first interviews was with ChatGPT, and it was a technology company. So I would have assumed that they would be using a good bot, but they didn't. And it was a horrible interview. Clearly, the person that fed stuff into the bot had not even reviewed my resume. They advertised it as a remote position, and at the very end, I asked them, can you tell me, I assume this position is open because you're expanding. And they said, oh, no, it's open because the last tech writer, it's changed to on-site and the last tech writer couldn't drive this far. Well, I couldn't either. So it's all, in my opinion, it's all over the board with how good these bots are at interviewing. And I really don't think there's any way to thoroughly prepare, but the person who said, put your resume and the job description in and interview me, that's probably the best thing you can do. So, and it's sad that it's coming to this because I'm a people person too. My job is interviewing people.
Any other comments from anybody else online? No, that's my cursor. Okay, what else can we talk about? Somebody else? Oh, somebody's muted. Oh, Cindy, were you muted? Anybody else online? Any questions, any comments? All right, what else can we talk about? I like Bindu's thing. Make sure when you do that kind of interview, on the other side of your monitor or the other side of the camera, put a family photo, put something there so you have something to stare at. I think I've heard that before years ago.
So I'm just sharing.
Okay. Yeah, I interestingly enough have a different focus here, and I'm here for myself, but my daughter's been in the job search now since she graduated 2.5 years ago. And needless to say, she's won't listen to dad. And she's been here once, maybe a year ago. Actually, it was maybe further than that because masks were still in play. But anyway, I'm open. I really need some help in how to direct her or push her without being seen like, Dad, I got this. And one of the problems she has is she feels she's got it figured out, and that just by going on job lines and applying for jobs on job lines, and that she'll find something. And it's what is it that if you do something over and over again, expecting a different result, that's a definition of insanity. She's really committed to that and not getting anywhere. So any ideas you have that I might suggest to her, or like Walt, I think the practice interview is a great idea. I think she would do that. And so anyway, I'm open to suggestions. And she's 30 years old. She's into media arts, videography, that sort of thing. But right now, she just wants a job with benefits. I want her to have a job with benefits.
We all want that job with benefits.
So the reason I asked what she's into is because I have seen people in creative people, they don't think that we understand them, especially you being cybersecurity. It's different than their creative aspect of it. In South Lake Focus Group, they created a group called Magic, MAGICC. They meet the first Thursday of the month in person at South Lake at 10:45, and they also are planning to meet one more time on Thursday. So if she can actually go spend time with them, because they understand each other, and applying online doesn't work true, but their jobs are not easy to find either.
Right.
And there was a gentleman couple of weeks, like Andrea is working with Danny, one of the guys. He's like, I need help. And I was just asking Leslie, hey, can you go talk to him? It seems he needs help, like creating website, creating a lot of things. Like sometimes the small business people don't know what you ask for, and creatives have to go and insert themselves. And I think that's what Leslie and Deborah, they're trying to convince him that, hey, we'll create a video for you, we'll create a website for you. So it's a gig business. It's different.
What did you say the theme was itself?
I'll connect with you and introduce you to Leslie, and you can talk. I don't speak creative as much, even though I create the newsletter.
But the group's called Magic, right?
Magic, MAGIICC. I just go sometime for some magic, just crash. I just crash their magic party sometimes because I like magic, but I don't have the pixie dust. On the same note, I know you and the other gentleman, there is a group called Cybersecurity Networking Happy Hours. Are you aware of that?
But it's been a while.
Okay. Yeah, they have one. They have one happy hour on Jan 26th, or one in January in Frisco, somewhere around.
That's next year.
No, now in January. Oh, so
it's February.
February. Sorry. Yes. So, see, that's my thing. The website on the top says the next happy hour will be in January, but if I scroll down, it's actually in February. Yes. So they have one on February 26th at Tender Smokehouse. Tender Smokehouse. Yeah, I'll just message.
Okay.
Hey Bindu, I don't know if you can hear me, but the magic group that you're talking about, is that for creative people or is it for young people who are just starting their careers?
It's creatives.
It's creative people.
Creative.
Okay, thank you.
That magic group's been around for a long time. They've been around a long, long time. I thought they disappeared. I didn't know. I don't think they're even on my website. I need to get the information from them again. If anybody has it, please forward it to me so I can get them back up on the website.
Parenting 101. And so here we go. How to get your children to listen to you. You get them to listen to somebody else.
Yes.
That's the really key, and that's that opportunity that
Kind of along those same
talking
lines
about.
too.
Short story, and she said, I got the job. And as my dad told me over and over, it was a real cut to me about that. So the idea is who listens. So I learned this. I learned this because years ago, when I couldn't get my wife to agree, understand, whatever, a conversation, I would go to my son, who, when he was older, she listened to quite avidly. And so I would go to him and say, here's the idea I'm talking about. Maybe you want to talk to mom. And then when he talked to mom, and then I brought it up, she said, oh, yeah, I think that's good. So I had somebody else do it that she trusted. She would listen to them. And so that same suggestion. And so getting involved with the group or getting somebody else, or perhaps having somebody give her a call or asking her to call somebody else to see if that would happen. But the older children get, the less they listen to us. And so even though they get wiser, they still become their own selves. So good luck with that challenge. Just keep loving her and hugging her.
Daughter father thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, kids don't listen, and it's if you haven't been to a lot of these career networking groups, you'll find that these networking groups are 40, 50, 60-year-olds. There are not a lot of 20 and 30-year-olds. It was surprising. Tuesday at Frisco Connect, up came a 20-something person asking a question. It was just like, wow, this is just weird to have a young person be asking questions.
Yeah, Jeff, along those same lines, there are young professional networking groups within Dallas. And I suspect that part of it is, a mix of work and social and happy hour. And so that might be a good place for the daughter to go, because it'll also bring, the social aspect and connect new connections and other creative people that are working in cool environments that are maybe a little less corporate and more gig focused. So
You have any recommendations where to find these groups at?
I've seen them on Eventbrite, but I'll look if the person that spoke up about his daughter drops the email in the chat. I can do a little research and let you know.
Actually, I'm comfortable doing that research. I excel at this sort of thing.
Okay, very good.
But I appreciate your offer, and the insight on what to look for in my search is fabulous. So thank you.
Sure, and I think one of them is in Uptown, which is a little bit of a hike if you live, north, but it may be well worth it, just because of the connections and folks working at interesting companies that we may not know about at a older age group.
One other tip, instead of telling or suggesting that she do something, have someone else invite her. So, well, I understand you're looking for, so we've got this group, and so maybe she'll do what somebody else wants to do.
Spot. One of the tips was mentor. One of the tips was finding a mentor, and one of our family friends has taken an interest in my daughter, and she is like way up there in one of the healthcare organizations. And I think that if I were to suggest to Mindy, would you consider mentoring? Because she's already said, let me see your resume. So she's already doing some of it. And Abby really respects her. And I think you're right. That's the avenue I need to take. Yeah, because Mindy, there was something I wanted my daughter to change on her resume forever. And Mindy came back, why is that on her resume? She goes, I'm changing that. Thanks a lot, Walt. Oh, by the way, I'm Doug. I've never introduced myself.
All right, what else can we talk about? What else would you like to talk about? Two very good subjects. Kids never listen.
Parenting tip to go along with your parenting 101. Well, I'm wondering if you've considered volunteering at a homeless shelter and a community pantry with your daughter, or even getting a group of her friends together and doing it with her.
That's a good idea.
I could.
She has a group of friends that are focused in that direction. They're all church kids. The daughter has kind of fallen away from that, but she's just opened up a new group of friends, about 4 of them, and that would be a fabulous thing.
I would warn you slightly on that. I have a teenager, and speaking from experience, when I said, let's volunteer, he finds something somewhere in Fort Worth, somewhere so far away that makes it so hard on me just because he likes that. And I'm like, no. So I started coming up with a list of things we can do based on our schedule. Kids can be very creative when they want to hang out with parents.
Thanks a lot.
All right, what else? What another subject you want to talk about? Somebody online want to come up with a topic? Yes, Lance.
I see there's quite a few of us on here that, sorry, look like they're probably over 40, like myself. Currently have a job. Pretty sure layoffs are coming. I've been looking for a couple of years, and I have gotten, like, seriously looking for a couple of years. Updated my resume, updated my LinkedIn, did all the things I'm supposed to, and have only gotten.
Lance, you're cutting in and out.
What's that?
You were cutting in and out, so we couldn't quite get all of it.
Okay. I am currently employed, been looking for a couple of years. I've only gotten one real interview, and I'm starting to wonder if my age is holding me back, and curious to see if anyone else has felt the same and how you're navigating that.
How are you navigating your age?
As far as trying to, in your job search, if you feel like it's, something that's holding you back, any tips?
Well, Lance, let me ask a couple follow-up questions. First of all, typically when you fill out the application online, it does not ask for your birthday or anything like that. If you're only showing like the last 10 to 15 years on your resume, that's not a dead giveaway either. What is a dead giveaway is if in your LinkedIn profile, you're listing older jobs that go back 20 some years. If you're listing your dates of graduation, those are going to say, yeah, I'm not 30. So
excuse me. Yeah, and that's something I removed yesterday from my LinkedIn profile and updated my resume to remove that as well. It was a recommendation from a resume writer that I spoke to yesterday.
Hey, Lance, another thing is I was looking just to what I think is your profile. Are you with Fossil right now?
Yes.
You don't have a picture in your LinkedIn profile, and you don't have, there's no background or picture unless I'm looking at maybe you have 2 profiles, but in the one profile that I see, and it is complete in terms of like the experience, you don't have a picture or a background. I don't know if people also think like we would all do that maybe this is a fake person, right? I know that in resumes we don't have pictures, but your profile is not complete.
Lance, is there a reason you don't have a picture?
I don't know why there's no picture there.
That's
there is for
probably
sure.
your point of your problem is if there's no picture, you won't be found. And if you are by accident, people will skip over you. Now, also, actually, unfortunately, much to everybody's beliefs or whatever, if you're not being contacted with LinkedIn, taking your dates off of your education actually will probably hurt you even more, because If you don't have dates on your education, if anybody's looking for you and looking for a degree in that field, you will not come up because you don't have the dates on your education. So actually that could hurt you even more.
That's interesting. I'm looking at my profile right now, linkedin.com/Lance Lester, and my profile picture is very much on there.
Check your settings. It's not visible to the public.
Has anyone looked at it? Those that are online, or anyone that has a computer in the room? I checked just as you were talking.
So Lance,
I pulled up a Lance
I'm on my
Lester.
phone and I don't see it.
It says it's the settings. They're not visible if you have to update your settings to make it visible to everyone.
Thank you. I will do that right now.
Yeah,
It might be showing to your connections, but it's actually important that you show it to those that are
for
not
sure.
your connections.
That would make a ton of sense why, well, I mean, maybe, but.
And I don't know if that change would be immediate to us.
Is your birthday December 26th?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not showing.
Interesting. Okay. I appreciate you guys taking a look at that. That is a huge help.
Again, also something that's brought up, I've done tons, actually way too many of these groups, way too many. Another thing is it may have been showing at one point and you may believe it's showing. Things change on its own every once in a while. So this could be a lesson to us all, me included. Every once in a while, check your settings and make sure they are what you think they are. Because with an update or something, LinkedIn will make a change and change things without us knowing. And what we assume to be may not be as it actually is.
Yeah, and since we're all in job search, open your settings wide open so that they can see everything. So I know in some settings, there's some settings somewhere that even if you're not a first degree connection, if you're second or third degree, you'll still be able to see their contact information. But you still want to put it in the about section. But yeah, just open it up. If you're looking for a job, open it all up so that anybody can see anything on your profile.
And one more thing that I'll add, Lance, when you were talking before, you had your camera on, but since we're networking, be good if you have it on as much as you can so that people can see you. It's not the case for you, but some other people don't have their last name. And so you have to check that it shows who you are, because if someone wants to connect with you, they might just see your first name, and that's not there's no way to connect with you. And last thing is, I think here probably the only one that I see, Alkeisha has, at least the location as DFW. Sheldon actually has even his, his position, what he's looking for, and that I don't have myself. So it actually helps you. You're marketing yourself. You should be having as much information as you can when you're in a meeting. And again, sometimes you can't have your camera on, and it's understandable, but the more that you can do that, the better it is to connect with other people. Again, those of you that I see several people that only have their first name, there's if you go to your own kind of box where you have your name and you see the three dots at the top right corner, you can hit that and it'll give you the option to add your last name and whatever extra information you want. Because again, if I want to connect with one of you, I don't have Cam, Danielle, Ray, Z, etc. I don't know how to connect with you.
This is Walt. Let me make a couple of comments for your thought on age discrimination. Number one, when do you want them to find out your age, now or later? If they're going to discriminate against us later, why go through all the work in the process? And so the way I suggest that we approach it is to look at the motive. Why are they concerned about our age? What are the problems? What are the issues? What are they thinking about us that says we're probably not a good fit. And there's several reasons that that can be. But how does that change our approach? Well, it doesn't. It really is. I mean, what we approach is saying, you know, this is what I can do for you. This is how I can help you. This is the kind of person I am, whatever. And I can fulfill this. But we want to answer the motive as well. And so if they're concerned about something, the most frequent and the most often concern is you'll be a short timer, you won't be happy here, and you'll leave. And so we should talk about that and say, this is the job I want. This is the company I really want to be. This is the thing. So, and you can tell them, I'll never take a position where I'm not fully committed to this role. So that answers, you know, the motive. And so if that's the primary motive, those are some of the things that we can say and talk to, even in our opening statements, in our talk. So it's just great. I love this company. I love this job. This is the place I want to be. This kind of job I love to do. Put it right up front if that's a serious concern about that. And on the other hand, I cannot change anybody's discrimination. I can't make them say, okay. But in reality, as we think, we say, you really need us. You need our experience. You need our background. You need all that information. But not if they're still concerned about it. So think about how you might approach it to say, and my main strategy is to convince them this is the job that we want. This is the company where we want to work. And if we can convince them of that, then we will reduce that risk of saying, hey, we're not a job hopper, we're going to leave soon. Just something for you to think about.
So some of you may think I'm young looking, but I changed my mindset shift last year to own it. I don't compromise anymore, and I'm not going to convince other person what I lack. I just told myself that I will only go with people who focus on my strength, not on what I do not have. When I changed the shift, I have become more confident, and I was trying to tell them that you need me more than I need you. In the interview, that flew in my responses. I know it may not work for everyone, but that shift has improved my confidence tremendously.
Maybe adding to Walt's comment, I think that some of you might have been with certain companies for a long time. And in terms of like the ageism and whether you're going to be there for a while and you're committed, like Walt said, the other thing is a lot of people that work for, PE-backed companies or just in general, young people tend to jump from job to job all the time. And if you happen to be one of those that has worked in, a few companies for a long time, that's another thing to say, hey, look at my resume as you're discussing it. It's like I join companies because I want to, grow with the company and, and add value to the company, and I'm committed, and again, lots of people, especially young people, but also some because of the market in the industry and the PE-backed companies, will have not a fault of the employee, will have to, every time that there's an exit plan, will have to jump to another company. So that's another thing to mention.
What else? Kathy, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I want to make sure that I don't know how long he's been coming to this group, but I want to make sure he knows that on Tuesdays, every Tuesday, Jeff brings somebody in to talk about LinkedIn and how to set it up. And they have regular meetings about updating your resume, and a lot of those are recorded on the YouTube channel. And I think you've gotten some bad advice about your resume, and maybe you need to look at some other sources.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, if you ask 10 people for their opinion on your resume, you're going to get 12 different answers. And then if you show it to them again after you fixed it, they're going to see even more corrections you want to make. So you just have to work on your resume until you're happy with it. But you remember, don't spend too much time on it, because all it is a hook. It's just a hook to get them to call you on the phone. And once you get that phone call, then it's up to you to sell yourself in. And that's all the interviewing skills. So, get your resume to a place you like. And if you're getting some responses, you're in good shape.
Yeah, right now I'm kind of in the test period of seeing what removing my graduation dates from my resume will do per her advice, but I still have, the original version. For the most part, my resume, I like where it's at, and but that was my concern. One of the concerns I raised with her yesterday, and she gave me that suggestion.
Always keep a master resume
Yeah.
so that you don't ever have to rewrite any part of it.
You're sharing a lot of tips on the chat room, and I know the recording doesn't capture that. So
But you'll get a copy of that in the email tomorrow. So all the comments that are going into chat for those here in the room who can't see them all, you'll get those in the chat tomorrow.
thank you.
As long as I can read your email address. Yes. All right. What else can we talk about?
Hi, this is Timolyn. I
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to throw something out there that probably many of us feel from time to time. And one of the gentlemen online kind of alluded to it. It's like any company. So, what if you don't have a target company or a passion about one thing or something that you cannot do? You're just, I want to work. I mean, you can't say that in an interview, obviously, but how do you navigate that? If you're still not getting, the interviews that you want. You have a job that you would like to do, but the company doesn't matter.
Timberland, this is Andrea Brown. I'm in sort of the same information. But to your specific question, I think you need to follow what maybe Walt is saying. What is their problem? And so each company has got a problem that they're hiring this person for. So that you would do well to figure out what the problem is that they are trying to solve with this opening and figure out what passion, quote unquote, passion you can bring about solving their problem.
I mean, I understand looking for the company's problem to solve and trying to fit into that. But at the same time, there are a million companies with a problem to solve.
Well, that's why it's really important when you go for when you have an interview. One of the first things you do after they ask you, well, tell me about yourself, and you give a short little answer, is turn it back on them and says, so what are your biggest problems? What is it that I can do to solve a problem for you all? Find that out at the beginning of an interview, then you know what to talk about during the rest of the interview.
And something else that might help you as well is, what are your guiding principles? What's your mission? What do you believe in that can also help to connect with the organization? So for me personally, it's about servant leadership style. So I talk about that and how that would apply to the organization and the company to try to make more of that personal connection. I hope that helps you.
The issue that I have is changing industries. How can I change industries? I mean, I'm in accounting. It should be able to be flexible. I'd like to get in construction. I mean, healthcare, I think, is a little bit more stable just for the fact that HIPAA protects it from AI at this point. But I would like to get into either working for a title company or working possibly even insurance, change my industry.
I didn't understand. When you ask a question, if you'd give your name so I know who you are, who was the person that asked the question about the original question here?
Kim.
Who? I can't read for
Which original question?
The question was, I can do a job anywhere in the companies. Why don't I care? Something like that.
Timolyn.
Okay. Well, Let me ask you this question. What's the fastest way to get a job? Be found or find?
I'm sure it's find.
Okay. So what we want to do is work on the finding part. So if we're waiting on companies to contact us, so are you getting interviews?
No, not, I mean, I've had a couple, but
Okay. Well, wouldn't you like to find a company where you'd like to work?
obviously,
Obviously,
but I
right.
mean, most
Go ahead.
most companies that I've worked at, I've kind of fallen into, and it's been fine. I mean,
Okay.
I'll go with the flow wherever I'm at.
Well, that's certainly an option for you to consider. I'm going to give you another one that says, "Gee, why don't I try to find the company where I'd like to work and then chase them rather than hope that I fit into another one?" So having target companies and trying to work into those companies is going to help us be more satisfied with the job because I'm working with a company that I like. And then getting the networking and the contacts and things like that to get into the company because every company has problems. Every company needs a solution to things. And if I can get in the door through to a networking contact or something so that I can talk to somebody, I don't care whether there's a job posted or not. I just want to get in and find out about the company, what I can do for them. And there are informational interviews that turn into hiring interviews because of that. So my suggestion and my thing is that you have a greater percentage of chance of shortening your job search through targeting companies and going and finding and hunting that way, because you're still hunting the other way. The other way is still going to be done. People are still going to try, you'll get found. So that doesn't go away. So you're adding to your probability of shortening your job search by seeking out the companies. Anyway, that's my suggestion to you.
So Doug, do you still want to?
No.
Okay.
Right.
It may be, you may be open to any company anywhere, but you still have some constraints. Like my husband, he doesn't care which company, which industry, as long as it's like within 5 miles from where we live. That's his radius or circumference that he would find the companies. So the priorities in your life, whatever you have, may already define or limit the target companies you can have, and also the skills. Me being in data, I cannot go work in construction or somewhere where my skills are not well utilized. So there are like something about you that can help in figuring out.
There was also a question asked about changing industries. If you'll go to the Career USA YouTube channel and search through the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group videos that are listed there, I gave a presentation some time ago on changing careers or industries and how to approach that and some tips and techniques to help that. So if you might want to find that video on the YouTube channel and take a look at that to help you with changing industries.
If I may add a comment to what you said, Walt, I think, and I've not been good at that in general, but we're all in job search. And so right now we're all trying to expand our networks, meet people, and yes, it's a lot easier to find rather than be found. But I think that one thing that we should keep in mind is that when we have a job, sometimes it's easier because we all feel more comfortable, and at the same time, it's very clear to other people that we are not asking for something. We're just, trying to, again, meet other people. And so I think that in terms of like companies that you like or you're interested in, once you land a job, you should continue nurturing your network. And at that point, again, it's easier if Bindu's husband wants companies within 5 miles of where they live. When he has a job, that's when he can continue in different networks and LinkedIn and other people to connect with people that work in those companies that are in that same radius around the house, around their home. Why? Because again, the other person doesn't feel like, oh, you're contacting me because you're in job search. I'm not going to be able to help you. I'm not going to connect, or I, whatever it is. It's just like, ask for advice, not for a job. It's kind of similar situation. So that's what we all need to do. It's like whatever your interests are, do it now, but continue doing it when you land and you have a job.
Okay, got a different question here.
Hi everyone, I'm pretty new to this, so I think maybe you guys might have discussed this question before, but I've been seeing online, like LinkedIn, there are these ads for these AI applier applications or programs where you just give them your job description, what you're looking for, and then it'll apply to like 100 companies that it sees online. I'm not a fan of this, and I have my reasons for that, but have any of you guys found any success of using this method?
Anybody using the AI apps to apply for jobs? Got heads shaking no here. Anybody online?
No, and I never would.
Okay.
This is
Well,
Altisha. Sorry to interrupt, Jeff. My
yeah.
understanding is that they're doing things that you would normally do, but they don't necessarily do it as effectively as you. It's more of a volume numbers game workout. They can do volumes, but then the quality isn't there. You can't tailor things. And unfortunately, yeah, so it's just pick and choose. I've not tried it myself, but that's my understanding of the logic behind it.
Okay.
And it's a lot like spray and pray. Only
Right.
you don't know what you're praying for because you have no idea who they sent you to.
Do they allow you to set parameters in that application to look at only certain companies or industries or something like that? Okay, so the answer is yes, they do give some. Okay.
Anybody else or new topic?
So I do not personally have AI apply for me because I worked in pretty regulated industries. So I need to know who gets my resume because not everyone needs to know everything that I did. So I'm very, it depends on your background and what limitations you have if you want to go that route.
Hi, Andrea Brown again. I have a question. So this is a new topic. Are any of you doing AI training? And if you're using AI tools, I'd like to know what people are using AI tools for. So like in your everyday, I'd like to hear what other people are doing.
Yes, this is Doug. I've got started using AI probably a little over a year ago. And at the time, ChatGPT was by and far the industry leader. So I subscribed to that and have been using ChatGPT, though I'm familiar with Copilot and Grok. And the thing I use it for, there are two things. One, for anyone wishing to get into AI, if you're familiar with Udemy, Udemy, they have excellent introductory classes on AI and where you want to get. You want to get to the point where you know the 5 elements of good prompt construction. And once you master prompt construction, you can use AI much more efficiently. And I use it primarily right now for research, for book summarizing, and also job search. I use it quite a bit for that to research companies. And the key is, being able to you've got to take it with a grain of salt because it's gotten better, but occasionally when you ask it to do deep research, it'll make some connections that are just not real. So being able to, that's where the human factor comes in, being able to discern it. But if I were starting out, I would look at the free classes, or I think maybe they might be $20 on Udemy that will get you going in AI.
This is Rosina. I just put in the chat, check with your local library because Frisco Library has Udemy as part of its free digital education. So if you're not in Frisco, check with your library system to see what free course platforms they may have.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great tip.
And the other part of that is that a lot of libraries have where they let neighboring cities use their library free. I live in the Colony, and the Colony can use Plano's free, and Plano has Udemy. So don't just look at your own library.
The additional tips I have is, of course, there's ChatGPT, but I've played around with Gemini 3.0, Claude, and Copilot. So I just suggest you try them, the different ones, and then you'll find the one that you like. So I like Gemini for deep HR research. And ChatGPT I like for cover letters, and I still don't know a lot about Agentic, which is the next thing. So that's on my list to take online courses in there. But I do agree that taking the courses and really getting beyond the prompting and getting to the point where it starts to do work for you, that's where the companies will want to see the value, because obviously you can do more with less in using these resources.
I think today's in college, today's English classes are going to be changing, not to do English, but how to put together the prompts that you need.
So I know some of you are using it for interview preparation. I ask all engines like ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, I ask all of them to give me interview questions because over prepping is not a problem for me. I also ask to do a gap analysis and give me a development plan so I can be prepared for that. That's one side. At resume side, a lot of times the words are interchangeable in my line of work. Some companies want to look at security, some say governance, some say compliance. And my resume, even though it's pretty standard, I need to still tweak it. So I ask to compare and say, how can I reword it, or change the phrases. And now I also fell in love with Notebook LM, not LLM, Notebook LM. The reason I like it is because sometimes we do so many projects and we forget the impact of those projects. I can say that for this particular date range, import all the 10Ks and everything that you find on the internet. It actually limits the sources that you can use, and it would only give you, for example, I worked on a project at Blue Cross called Member Rewards. I said, hey, tell me how much impact that company had, or what did they talk about this project in the 10K of Blue Cross Blue Shield. And for those years, it grabbed me the numbers from 10K. And that just gives me a way of saying my tech resume in the impact, if it helps.
Walt, again, two areas. One is AI for job search, and one is AI for professional use. AI for job search. The Udemy is a good suggestion. Again, if you go to the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group YouTube Career USA page, there's Rusty Wallace. Many of you have heard Rusty talk about AI for job search. Has a great website. It is recorded on Jeff has recorded one of those. I would strongly recommend that if you're interested in using it for job search, because he goes over the prompts and he goes all over the fundamentals and gives you some great ideas and suggestions. And I don't know how Rusty, who is a senior marketing person, delved into AI. The second thing is, how do you use it professionally? Because when we get an interview, we would like to show examples of how we could use it or have used it, and that we have knowledge in it and what it is, so that we can tell them, particularly if they ask us about it. And another thing is, don't forget to ask them, and how are you using AI today in that particular area? So that's a great thing to do on that side of things.
Sheldon, your hand's up. Go ahead.
Yeah, excuse me. And I scribbled down a note here. I've got a couple of things on multiple topics we've been talking about, so I'll try to share them all very succinctly and brief. Just with regards to the job searches, what I've been doing, and some of this was what Rusty Wright had talked about, was using ChatGPT to help identify roles by loading in all the criteria of what I'm looking for from industry, size of companies, role titles. But I'm also asking it for any roles that have been posted in the last 7 days, because I don't want to look at things older than that. But I also want the hyperlinks to both the role and the companies. And I say the companies because I'm only applying on company websites. I'm not going through LinkedIn or anybody else to apply. Then we were talking about for the interviewing, a couple of things that I do possibly a little different for the interview. Given the opportunity, the opening of the interview, I will, in a roundabout way, ask, while you're reviewing hundreds of candidates, what has brought my resume to your attention that we're having this conversation today? And I do that so that it triggers them to give me a couple of bullet points for this interview and for the successive interviews I'm anticipating, of what is really attractive for me as a candidate to them. So it allows me to hone my questions and my preparation. And then we were talking about how do you solve a problem for the company? I also will obviously load in resume and a job description in the ChatGPT, but I'll ask them to help identify what are those top 3 or 4 pain points, and give me suggestions of how I can address that. And all that's visible in the job description. We just got to be able to comb through it or use AI to help us find it. And again, it allows you to have more of a talk track beyond just, here's a job description, here's what I can do, but here's the really 3 or 4 things that I know are issues for you and how I can help you resolve it. And the final thing I'll do in preparation, and because I'm in consumer packaged goods or food and beverage, I think it works for me, but it might also work for the rest of you. I'll also build out a SWOT analysis of both the company, the brands, and their competitive brands before those interviews, so that I'm as well versed and over prepared as I can be. And it's really interesting how sometimes I'll make a comment and the feedback will come back from the screener, the hire manager. Hey, I really appreciate you've dug into it, or that you've got out and walked the store before the call. It gives you one more leg up of what are the other candidates doing? Because at the end of the day, they're your competition. And I just want to make sure that I'm showing up the best I can.
Thank you.
Sure.
No, he was just commenting on.
Let me add one thing on the AI. I put in a prompt to AI. I said, I want to do research on a potential company that I want to work for. Prepare a prompt for me. And it came out with a very detailed prompt on what to ask. And so then I just stuck that in, and that was, yeah. Well, and it produced a pretty good prompt. And so there's a shortcut.
All right, what else can we talk about?
If this is Alkeisha online, if no one's in the room asking any questions, I'll.
Yeah, go ahead.
So one of our colleagues online wasn't able to ask this directly, so they asked me to ask on their behalf. And it's in the chat. If I could just get a chat open. Ha 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 ha. Okay, there it is. What is the best way about applying for a position that is below your current, that's less senior level than where you are? The individual is a senior internal auditor, but found an internal auditor position that they're interested in because of the company. I gave them my response individually, but I'm sure they'd like to hear what the group has to say.
What'd you say?
I can share with the group.
Tell us.
Okay. Apply for it and negotiate for close to the compensation that you want for the role that you're looking for. Once you get inside the company, then you work it from the inside and make sure that there is room for growth at the company. One of the questions that you could ask during the interview when they say, hey, what do you have any questions for me, is inquire about the mobility in the role, what options that you have for growth and promotions, and see what they say. And if it's still in line with what you want, that might be something you want to agree to. That was my 2 cents.
I would also say you just want to apply for the job because if you can get an interview, who knows, they may interview you and go, well, you were really a little bit more senior when we were looking for. We can hire you at a higher rate. So I would say, apply and go for it and go for the interview because you never know. I know I've had at least one person out of this group on a Friday who applied for a job and they said, well, we've got this other job that we actually haven't advertised for yet, and we think you'd be a better fit. And it was a higher level job. So, you just got to go for it if you're interested.
Especially if it's the company you want. That's
Yes.
usually a better fit than the role because once you get in, and especially hopefully there's an opportunity for you to move around, that helps.
I have applied for a few jobs that were at different levels, to not degrade it, but just different levels. And so what I do when I've been called for the interviews is those are when they ask me for questions. That's one of the things I'll ask them back. I said, are you wondering why I'm applying for this role that's so different from my previous role? And of course, they'll say, yeah, and I address it right there. And I'll say, the reason is XYZ, and it could be the company mission, it could be the impact that the role will have to the organization, or it's a new industry you want to learn about. So I just address it. What do they say? The elephant in the room? I just address it towards the end.
Sheldon, I see your hand up.
Yeah, and I've been asked the question a couple of times because I've also applied for some roles that are less senior than where I'm at, and I've tried to handle it this way. That to me, it's all about coming into an organization, learning the organization, building those relationships that are so important, understanding their strategies and go to market. But that will allow me to grow in the company and then progress from there.
Thank you, Miguel.
Yeah, I think it was somewhat addressed by the person that in the room just talked about. But I think the most important thing is that you need to be certain, not only, yes, it's great to ask the questions about what mobility you will have in these other opportunities, but the more important part of it is you need to make sure that you answer the questions from the company's perspective, which is they are going to think that you might just using it as a stepping stone, or that you are going to, not be, essentially you're not going to stay there for a long time. So you need to show them your commitment. And if it is because it's your, like I think Okisha mentioned, if it's because it's the one company that you have always tried to target, okay, but you need to make sure that you are convincing. And sometimes you might not be if you don't have a strong case. So I think it's both ways. It's not just asking about like the opportunities to then move up. It's about convincing them that you are there for a particular reason or that you are committed.
Anybody else? Another question? Anybody other topic you want to talk about? Okay, come on, anybody?
I think maybe I'll ask a question or a general, maybe just for some discussion. What is people's perspective on how the job market has been evolving? It seemed for a while that there are more people looking for a job than the opportunities that are out there. It might depend on the level that you're looking at. And so companies are being able to be picky about like what they want. Essentially, what I mean by that is if they have 10 requirements, they want you to cover the 10 of them, as opposed to, knowing that you can do 90% and you're going to be stretching that particular area, but might be not the most important one, and you're going to be able to develop that one. And so that's been for a while. Companies have not been they had just been backfilling positions, but not really opening new initiatives or growth in general. And so what is everyone's perspective on that front? Are you seeing more activity? Any comments?
What is anybody saying? Comments? Well, I mean, if you read the paper that said the number of job openings is at like 6.3 million, which is one of the lowest numbers in a while. January had a large number of layoffs. I think who's the big payroll company? It said only 22,000 people got new jobs last month. So it's definitely tightening up. But if you look at South Lake, you still see that there are people that are landing every week. So I think it's just a matter of you networking into a company, and if they know that you can solve a problem that they've got, you've got a chance.
Miguel, this Walt. I love your question. And I think when you get down to more about industries, to do some research on what industries are going up, what industries are going down, what type of roles are going up, what type of roles are going down. I mean, all of us that are analytical, AI is going to be heavily analytical oriented. And so we better be able to use AI so that we can still keep an analytical job and all that sort of thing. But my question to you is, so what? Does it change anything we're going to do? Does it change our job search activities and actions? Here's my philosophy, and I got it from Jack Bick, if those of you might know Jack. Companies are always hiring. They always have needs. They always have things. They just laid off 3,000 people. Well, see how many people they hired that month. I mean, they still are hiring. So try not to let the numbers get us down and make us think, because we got enough hill to climb, as it is anyway. And so listening to all of that. And then when they give the job numbers, they don't tell you what kind of jobs they are. All right. And so if you look at things, well, it was all in, in this particular area or something like that. And so you have to look into the numbers a little bit more. But it might cause us to look at things and say, I might want to change what I'm looking for. I might want to change my role. I might want to make a change in here because there's more opportunity in these other areas. So take some research and look at some of that. But you're still going to get up the next morning and say, okay, I got to network. I got to do whatever, activities that we have to do. But that's a good question, Miguel. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah, and I think, well, the reason I'm asking, this question is absolutely, you're right that, the so what, right? We all have to continue networking, applying for positions, et cetera. But it raised awareness, like you talked about, like the levels, industries, et cetera, functions that are hiring or not, and whether we need to adjust our search. The other thing is, if it is a difficult market, then we need, by being aware of it, we need to obviously work harder in the job search. But the other part of it is so that we feel like, we are, everyone, I think, that is in job search, one of the things that, at least in my case, that we feel is that we don't have a lot of control on things, right? And so you need to make sure, and it's even more important, that you know what you can control. Right. And by that, you're not going to know how many people are going to return, a call or give you an interview or whatever. But, if you have and you are planning what you're doing and you know that this week I'm going to go to this many networking events and I'm going to contact this many people and I'm going to apply to this many number of jobs, et cetera, as long as you can control that part of your job search and you feel good about it, it continues to keep your mindset up, right? You feel good that you're doing your part, and at some point, the job will, or the offer will come. And I think that part is again, just in anything that we have in front of us as an obstacle, as a goal, you need to kind of see how difficult it is and plan how to get there. So it's a little bit of awareness.
Just a thought, Miguel. When I was searching and I realized that some of the people on the other side are paranoid as well, because the job market all of last year was volatile, tariffs, AI, there are a lot of economic factors that they were thinking and they were not sure. One thing that I during my informational coffee request, I just asked, like, if the hiring manager is open to considering me for a contract to perm role, would it work for you? So that's a proposition I try to pass on. It did not work for me, but that is one angle that you can try through networking. You don't have to say that, hey, I need this job, I need this at full time, I need this. So you can try negotiating. Just a thought.
Yeah, no. Contracts are certainly an option in many cases because they could lead to a permanent position.
Right. Anybody else? Comments? Question? We've got time for one or two more questions if we want. Anybody online? All right, well, I guess we will stop here. Let me share a few more slides and we'll get out of here. Next week, our speaker is going to be Jay Arbetter. He's going to talk about networking the old-fashioned way. He's got a great presentation of how he's networked, got into what he does. He's a senior vice president at UPS. He manages well over $1 billion worth of assets for a lot of people. So he'll be joining us next week. On the Career USA YouTube channel, this will be uploaded tomorrow afternoon. Click on playlist. Every video I post goes into one of 7 different playlists. And down in the lower left-hand corner, you see View Full Playlist. By clicking there, up will come a list of all the speakers we've had over the last 4 or 5 years, and you go back and watch any video that you want at your convenience. Next Tuesday for LinkedIn Tuesdays, Kurt Vondermatter will be with us to talk about LinkedIn from a recruiter's eye, how Kurt looks and how he tries to find you. So always an interesting presentation. The practice interview team will be meeting in person right here at Christ United Methodist Church at Coit and Parker in Plano. They'll be in person next Wednesday. And then next Friday, as I mentioned, networking the old-fashioned way with Jay Arbetter. On the 20th, we don't have a subject. We have a speaker, but she hasn't told us what the subject's going to be. I'm hoping it's going to be the 5 stages of grief. Losing his job is like you're losing a loved one. Until you get through all 5 stages and you've accepted what's happened, you're not ready to interview. So I'm hoping that's what we'll be talking about. And then on the 27th, the Art of Hello with Paula Calise. Today for lunch, we're going to go to Mama's Pizza. How many people think they're going to go? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 or 5 of us. We'll be there today at 11:45. And other than that, thank you very much for joining us today, everybody. Have a great Friday. Have a good weekend. I think it's supposed to be nice and toasty out in the 70s this weekend. So enjoy yourself for those here in Dallas. For everybody else, we'll hopefully see you next week.
Thank you.